Hello everyone, this is Fantastic Worlds, welcome you back to Lovecraft Country and Secret World Interludes. This case we're doing a museum episode. Now I'd hoped to do the Egypt museum episode, after we did Egypt, but unfortunately anima shards can get quite dry at sometimes, so we're doing it now. Any case, it's during the Halloween season, so I have officially decided to appear as a stuffy British gentleman. Simply because it's in London, it seems appropriate, and God knows I'm not going to be wearing buckled shoes any other time. Anyway, so let's pop over to the Egypt exhibit. Oh God, yes, we got the holographic. Dude, I think he's following because I think I'm going to do some, okay, here we go. I'm going to do some shoplifting. Anyway, so yeah, let's pop over to the next section, the Cult of Aton. Now these are your primary bad guys. Come on, open up. Your primary bad guys in the Egypt section, the thralls of the Black Pharaoh, who, of course, is kind of an underwhelming bad guy, really. He only shows up at the end, and his apostle in the regular world is that fat dude, whose name I've even forgotten. But as you can see, they exist both in undead and dead form, because the undead are the original cultists who are given immortality. And doesn't that look awesome? That form of immortality, get to wander around as a bleached skeleton unable to rest, and can only take out your frustrations on the living. Anyways, a Hand of Aton, the most devoted of Aton's followers subject themselves to the cult's mummification rituals. Yeah, this was a volunteer operation, but as our good friend Amir pointed out, the human mind is not capable of handling immortality. They were going mad before they even started decaying, which is why I pointed out we are not actually human inside this form anymore, because we've got to be able to handle immortality ourselves. So what public domain painting is that, I wonder? Anyways, pop over here. This is the more degenerate form. Yeah, the Shambling Mummies are said to be the mouthpieces of the frightening god. Yeah, this is when they really fall apart, when there's nothing left but an empty shell for Aton to move around like a puppet. And of course, this is the larger version here. The Wrath of Aton, said to be possessed by a legion of demons, these mummies grew to colossal size and inhuman features. More likely, they're just upgraded by filth. If you recall, way back when in Kingsmith, the super Hulk zombies that we were fighting were the ones that are infected by two strains of filth. The ones that was airborne and the one that was in the island itself. And that's kind of why they were fighting other zombies as well, because it was essentially two different strains of filth, two different versions of reality. Remember, the filth hopes to overcome reality and to replace it with a single, morass of nothing. But the problem is, as it's chaos, there are multiple strains, and each of them fighting for dominance, which is one of the reasons why they're so freaking disorganized. Anyways, yes, here we are to the living, and this is the priest. Now, yeah, that looks like a guy who's going to teach you spiritual awareness now, doesn't it? Anyways, the Aton Preacher. Recordings of Aton cult sermons contain words from no known language and sounds which no one outside the cult have been able to reproduce. So they mutate the speaking vocal cords to be able to control and manipulate people, is my guess. Some sort of sonic. Yep, and there's the Roman version of the undead. Some sort of sonic manipulation. These undead were created by the incomplete version of Aton's cult mummification rituals by the Deus Sol Invictus, so they're even lower grade. That's why they're completely skeletal. Can you imagine having awareness in that form? And of course, we come to the rank cannon fodder. Now, these dudes, the standard cultins, worshippers of Aton, seem to be infected with something more than zealotry, something otherworldly. Essentially, they put a teaspoon worth of filth down their throat and turn them into this, which basically means they've been converting the entire village over by the time you get there. The places they overrun into these cannon fodder, which means the people you're killing are people who used to be there. Now that's the great thing about hang on a second. That's the great thing about these zombie-like scenarios in which just need the mnemonic things. Aton, the Black Pharaoh. Anyways, we just need your body, and they can use it as they will. No all violation of yourself for some horrific event. Yeah. Oof. Let's see. Bye. Oops. Wrong one. Mnemonic. Centerpiece. Basic. All right. I think that's what we need, right? All right. No, oh God, I didn't want superior, damn it. Yeah, classic, not superior. God damn it. What are you doing? Seriously. Yeah, we need to sell this one back. Luckily you can do that. Anyways, where was it? Must have hit the wrong one by accident. There it is. Classic. Alright. Sorry about that. Yes. At Aton, known as the Black Pharaoh and leader of the original Aton cult, his followers believed he was flesh and blood avatar. And I've said before... Let's see. There we go. Oops. Oh, God. Sorry about this. But yeah, said before, he was an actual living pharaoh. He was an individual who tried to replace the entire priestly class with his own one god. Essentially, wiped out all the Egyptian gods, said we're going to have one single solar-based god, and you're going to worship him, and I just happen to be his avatar. And so therefore it means I'm your god, and all the other priests here are powerless, and you must bow before me. Okay. Again, it looks like he's got the same more incomplete immortality scenario here, which means he's completely insane, which would explain why he's not doing the day-to-day operations, but the fat dude is. I mean, the fat dude probably just hears the mumbling of this guy, translates it in some way, and says to, how do I put this? Translates it in some way to make sure that whatever he's telling the god, his followers, it just happens to be what the high priest wants. And the only person who overrides him is that South American representative of the Morning Light, who comes in and threatens him a lot. And generally has no respect for him because, you know, like, why would you respect some dude? This is your god. Seriously, just a corpse and jewelry. Some people worship the strangest things. Anyways, let's check over the fauna of Egypt. Alright, so what we're dealing with here is the naturally occurring monsters located in Egypt. This one, of course, is the ghoul. Ghouls are necrophagous and seek out cadavers to feast upon, usually. In other words, they're what's called active scavengers, in which case that if you're wounded and bleeding in a graveyard, you don't want to be around ghouls when you're doing so, because they will decide you're weak enough that they can take you without a fight. Now, of course, considering how tough they are in hand-to-hand combat with the Warriors of Gaia, I'm thinking this is kind of, they could rip apart humans if they want to, but they're not very smart. I mean, take a look at that brow there. It's kind of look like a more amphibious sort of brow than a mammalian, so odds are they're not very intelligent. Okay, so we hop over to my least favorite of these goddamn things, the Giant Locust. Yeah, this is the thing. Ancient tales of Magi who summoned the demon Araba, who dispossessed the locust and grew him to great size. Again, we have a preternatural being possessing a corpse. Wait, did I miss one here? Let me see. Yeah, looks like I forgot to put the scorpions in. Give me a second, I'll handle that. But yeah, these cuties. You notice, however, that they're not actually natural creatures, and they would eventually, when the magic runs out, collapse underneath of their under the weight of their own size. That's what great thing. That's the thing about those giant insect monsters and such, is that they literally an exoskeleton can't handle a creature of that size. So whatever's holding them together is not physics. Not this one over here. Whoops. Alright, let's see what the scorpion looks like, shall we? Oh yeah, that's a cutie. Now, scorpions are interesting in that they are arthropods like spiders as opposed to insects. And they have the unique ability to be able to touch the sand and feel the vibrations around them. So in the old D&D universe, you couldn't hide from them if you were invisible. But yeah, Isis was sort of 7 great scorpions as her pets. Whether these specimens are connected to that myth or just coincidental mutation is unknown. I don't know, but that's true or not. But if it's true, Isis has got a hell of a lot more badass. Yes, she's the mother goddess of the Nile, and she will send giant scorpions to tear you apart if you piss her off. So, you know. And then we come to the fire elementals. The spirits of flame, the fiery spirits that seek to burnt bodies of Aton cultists to possess them for unknown reasons. My guess is that since the body of the cultists are essentially empty shells, these guys decide, hey, let's see what human existence looks like. So they hop in, run it around for a little while, and then burn it out and jump out again. Probably the elemental equivalent of juvenile delinquents. And, eesh. Not fun. Scarabs. Beetle found in the dig site of the Ankh have grown to unusual size and temperament. It reminds me of the beetles from the original movie of the Mummy. They were much smaller, but they'd eat you from the inside out, which is really more freaky than the giant ones to me. And of course, the ghoul lords. Yes, the ghoul shamans. More intelligent than the average ghoul, the shaman species are thought to wield celestial powers. Thought to? I can approve that they do. Jeesh. And the glare isn't good on your complexion there, but yeah, they're just the ones that, you notice that these ones are more upright than the ghouls. Basically means they are higher evolution. So, and all of this, we're going to be looking at Dr. Klein. The rumors of the death of the infamous Dr. Klein may be exaggerated. I have no idea how, but Klein is this, like, Nazi stereotype who has filth running through his head, thinking that he's the one in charge and the filth is just running him like a puppet. It's just that they don't mind their puppet being able to talk. And there he is. Such a lovely dude, isn't he? I like the fact that he's still wielding. Where did he get an Uzi, by the way? I want to know this, because Uzi's like a weapon that was popular during the 1980s and 90s. So is that when he showed up in that dig site, or has he been down this in the 1940s and just happened to pick up somebody's toy? And how does he get the ammunition? I mean, is he just going to run out eventually? Is it like us and the filth provides him his weapons? Kind of wish he could get in there and just mess with him. But yeah, I'm wondering what the superior ones look like. But yeah. Anyways, so a quick rundown. Yeah, I don't count this as a full episode. Where is the global? There we go. And yeah, sometimes I just like to look at the things here. Guardian Automations will be on the right. Okay. Yeah, the hologram will catch up with me, unfortunately. Okay, global and automations. Yes, I spent some time been killing golems, so apparently that allows me to get their exhibit going. But I didn't realize the main one required a piece that has 200,000 anima shards. That is one of the reasons why this particular episode was delayed. As you can see, the collections of material are impressive. Yeah, the metal golems, their automation of metal has the advantage of built-in weaponry. Basically, the golem spirits are, as they explained it during the 2018 set of holiday legend bits, is that these things are essentially computer programs. They are the magical equivalent of computer programs that look for material and then operate under their whatever they've been programmed to do. In this case, if you recall, the metal ones were created by the sort of Underkind idiot that is the idiot savant that is running Edgar, running the junkyard, and they kind of have the program to keep him safe, but they don't really designate between anybody except him and the dogs, and everybody else is an enemy, which of course is equal to his mindset because he believes everybody in the town is his enemy and hates him. Yeah, if you recall his little ranting speech there. Yeah, the glare on this one's pretty bad. What do we got? Yes, the tech golem. This is automated. These are studying this anomalous automaton in Caden Techio. There are no prior records of such a being. Yeah, I'm probably going to end up fighting these things. But yeah, essentially it's the same scenario as the junkyard version, only using advanced technology, which allows them to shoot the heck out of people with railguns and such. Oriachi tech, probably. Water golem. Thought this form of the water is responsible for a number of unexplained drownings on dry land. Well, that would be probably correct, yes. Oh my god. Well, I gotta admit, the motion is quite lovely. I don't even see that when you're fighting them because we're just moving so quickly. I'm concentrating on setting them on fire. Yes, I can make water burn. Alright, so what do we got here? Alright, mud golem. The classic clay golem is universal. Certain Mayan sources repeated to know the glyphs that concentrate its power. Okay, so yeah, this one right here, it's just basically, if you've got nothing else, the computer program will take mud as acceptable material. This one looks like flesh. Yep, gruesome automation made from the fused remains of animals and humans. Yep, basically, if you don't want to do mud, you can do flesh. It's just another form once it's dead. This one is a red hand golem. Ah, yes. Basically, these ones we've been seeing before are kind of wild versions. So this one has been programmed. Remember, golems are originally a Judaic myth in which a sorcerer creates a form, usually out of clay, because that's the basic version, puts on 3 runes that basically mean life in their language. And the thing is that they obey the creator for a while, and then they eventually go rogue because they're unnatural creations, and they literally start to break down because we are not gods. We can now human beings, or I suppose even that. I mean, very strange. Would the bees be able to do this since they're divine in origin? Never mind. When humans do it, they have a computer. They can't create the consciousness program the same level of God will. So eventually it goes mad, and then in order to kill it, you have to wipe out the first glyph, because the three glyphs together mean life, but if you scrap off the first one, the translation is death, and they die or go deanimate because they've never actually been formed before. But yeah, other materials you can make golems out of course, is lava. The frightening golem walking magma retains its rock melting heat throughout its unnatural life. You've got concrete, because sometimes that's the closest material rather than stone golem. The ground itself is made to quake when these masses of living stone march. Yeah. Essentially, if you don't have clay, you can use granite, or you can use sand. Ooh, don't have to get the right animate gravity. Basically, the program holds them together. Insect. Disturbing golem is a composite entity made of writhing insects and larvae. And this one's interesting because essentially it's replicating the hive mind of a insect swarm, essentially like the bee swarm, haha, or another one which has a central consciousness that brings together. Now, in the case that locusts and larvae don't actually have a central consciousness, so it's an artificial one that's essentially enslaved them. Speaking of which, you've got the forest golem, roots of root earth moss brought to life. Essentially the same thing as the insect, but this case it's plant life and not animals. Ice is just, well, a frozen water golem. I mean, yeah. Automation of frozen waters, animating force generates its own natural cold, allows them to walk in above freezing climates. Essentially, it's holding itself together by, how do we say this? It's holding itself together and moving essentially by an articulation that is probably resembles that of mechanical, and which also provides it sort of an eternal freezing process. Now this one over here, gold and silver golems, automations being a precious metal. Notice the possible articulation. Essentially, I'm guessing, unlike the other materials, since this one is more metallics and engineered, as it were, the golden and silver ones have a more fluid motion, because essentially probably like 10,000 different small particles as opposed to a few larger ones are moving them at each joint. And of course, concrete. Now this, the benign cement, a benign pile of rubble that rises as the threatening humanoid with a skin of concrete and bones of metal rebar. Yeah, essentially if you've got nothing natural, that's what you've got left. So let's go see what the central one looks like. Hopefully I've got all the pieces I need for it, because I would be severely annoyed if I didn't. I believe I got them all. What do we got? Gatekeeper and Agartha Custom. These beings are said to have been created by Gaia to protect Agartha and make sure it's smoothly. Yep, these are the ultimate versions. Remember how I said that the human couldn't replicate the divine programs of consciousness? In other words, the divinity can create a fully functional, operational, self-sustaining, and reproducible consciousness. That's what people are. That's what sentience is. And Gaia is divine. Gaia created a life, and she wants to create an artificial life form, a synthetic life form, would probably be the best way of putting it. She can do so because she's a goddess. All right, so what do we got? Centerpiece. All right, so, and let's pop this baby and see what we got. Okay. Oh yeah, ooh. You know, you see these boys running around all the time in Agartha. You never really take the time to look at what the detail they have there. I mean, this is kind of like a steampunk super golem, which kind of makes sense because steampunk would be like the earlier incarnation, the third age technology. If you remember, Lilith and other people survivors of the third age, like Kaleem, said that there was a machine for everything in the third age. It was the steampunk universe where they had wonders of technology, and then Lilith blew it all up because apparently she can't stand living in paradise. I suppose that Lilith in the real world, sort of as a goddess, represents chaos and evolution and change. It's her job, I suppose, to eliminate, shall we say, stagnation. And odds are, if you make a bunch of machines to do all your work for you, you've stagnated as an entity. So you can look at that in various different ways. Let's see what we got here. All right, hang on. Let me get this right. Face the door. Boom. All right, so yeah. That's the thing. Now, like I said, this isn't a full episode. It's just one I'm tossing out to help move things along. But I'm putting it into perspective for the rest of the game. The thing is about these is that you get kind of a bonus by doing so for, how do I put this? You get a bonus for damage and such when you complete these things, which it's really not huge. It's more of a bragging rights kind of thing. And think I like that, really like that effect, the glowing, that flowing effect on the water golem back there. Anyways, and it kind of just is bragging rights. I mean, you have to like collect all lore fragments, get certain pieces and such, and we're humans. We kind of like, you know, putting things together, poking things with sticks, building things. It's just our stuff, and the games tap it quite well. Anyways, so I will probably, if I've got the shards, pop over and record the next one as soon as I can, just to be able to catch up to the current phase, because Tokyo is probably almost reaching the half point story-wise, and yeah, this game's running low. I mean, of material. I mean, I will come back and hit certain things every now and then. There's always stuff like dungeons, layers, and such, and events and such. And of course, the special episodes will keep coming every 25 subscribers until I guess the last one. I probably can keep it going for a while though. In any case, this is Fantastic World saying farewell from Lovecraft Country. And if you like this, like, share, subscribe. If you really like it, down below are links to the Gumroad payment platform. And $1 gives you additional material, $2 gives you early access. And of course, the next stretch goal will be the Secret World Lore Hunter series, in which I create a second character whose job is to collect all the goddamn lore I can find. Hopefully all of it, but no promises. There's like at least a couple thousand of them, and some of them in really strange places and hard to get places. But we will be trying to get the story behind the story. But until next time.
You will see the dawning of a new age. To be a monarch or a beggar. To lose everything or to become a god. To stand with us or against us. The choice